Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Leadership Satsang session. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehendiratta. Always super excited to enjoy Tuesday evenings with you all and share an important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. I want to acknowledge and thank everyone who's been quite a regular at these sessions, which is now been happening since past 55 weeks. So this is our 55th Leadership Satsang. Let's have a little joyous dance on that and celebrate the consistency with which we've been able to bring out these sessions and the commitment with which you have been able to attend each one of them. Thank you so much, means a lot. It is because of you all that I keep thinking of more and more depth and more insights that can be shared so that you can enjoy your leadership journey and can create the impact that you so want to create on people. So thank you for being you, somebody who's willing to learn, who's willing to grow, who's willing to improve, because that is what it means by being a lifelong learner. It's not just a hashtag. It is the attitude with which we do whatever we do. And that's leaders like you who make this hashtag a reality. So thank you so much for being you. And on that note, let's bring ourselves into this moment completely by chanting Om as we always do. I hope that you are chanting this out loud in your space. Please do that if possible. Sometimes the environment might not allow you to, but if possible, see if you can chant Om out loud so that you can feel those vibrations. There is no point in chanting in the mind. The whole idea of any chant is to create the vibrations which can then enhance and elevate the energy field around us, which is what adds a lot more energy to us, which is what helps us to elevate our emotions. They're all related. Someday we'll, talk about all of this. Maybe I'll take that up as a topic for one of our leadership satsangs to tell you how these dots get connected. So there is a lot of science and logic behind doing all of this. So my humble request for now, take my word for it and practice out loud. See if you can chant in a way that you can throw your voice out as you exhale. So you inhale, and as you exhale, you start the chant. And until the middle, you go oh, and then say till the end of your exhalation, till as much as you can exhale. Right? So let's do it. Let's be comfortable wherever we are. Sit comfortably, keep your glasses aside because we don't need to see much. We just need to close our eyes and go within. And take this as an opportunity to be here completely in this moment. And every time you practice being in the moment is when it becomes easier and easier for you to be in the moment whenever you want to be, wherever you want to be, as many times as you want to be. So ensure your spine is straight and shoulders are relaxed. If you want to loosen up something around your waist, ensure you're able to breathe in and out comfortably. Take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. Let's breathe in and out a few times, as deep as you can, as deep as you comfortably can. Breathe in again and breathe out. And breathe in one more time. And breathe out. And with the next breath in, we'll chant Om 5 times together. Om. 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 Oh. With the vibrations. And when you're ready, rub your palms together. Till you can feel some warmth between them and place them gently on your eyes, in your face, in your ears, and your entire body, and slowly come back. How does it feel? How does it feel? Let's have some sharings in the chat. I'm looking at your comments right now. Very warm welcome to you, Rajendra, Madhuri, Ghansham, Jairam, Indiran. A very, very good evening to everyone who's joined me live. How are you feeling right now? Which part of the world are you joining me from today? Because you're all senior folks traveling around like a bird from one place to another. So you could be somewhere else. No matter where you are, we know how to be in the moment, wherever we are, right? That's the power of chanting. That's the power of being a part of a community, because proximity adds more power to us. You know, the ability to stay connected with like-minded people, that ensures that learning never stops, right? And that is the whole idea of creating the satsang community, where if you notice, you will meet like all these people every week. Indiran, every week. Jairam, Abhishek. Wow, so good to see you, Abhishek. Mac, thank you for joining in, Mac. Rajendra from Bangalore. Indiran from Kerala, of course. Wonderful. Jairam is feeling relaxed. Rajendra is feeling calm. And so am I. And also very, very excited, as much as centered. Wonderful, Max, you feeling centered. Nice. Kansham's from Gurgaon. It's crazy cold in Gurgaon, isn't it? I think, has it dipped below 3 degrees? I hope not. I hear it's very, very cold and unbearable, actually. Amita, good to have you here. Wonderful. All right. So we are here to learn a very important skill today, and that is public speaking. Of course, in the next 20 minutes, I can't tell you more about it, except for the fact that it is a skill which is a prerequisite for your career, for your growth, for your desire to make a difference to people's life. I cannot talk enough about how public speaking has helped me add so much more confidence to myself, has helped me to attract so many more opportunities which would not have come my way had I not prepared myself to embrace these opportunities and put my hand up and say, I want to take this up, this opportunity to share what I know, and with that add value to someone's life, right? That's what we do as speakers. But just because you're fluent in English doesn't make you a speaker, right? There is so much more that goes behind it. And just because you're not fluent in English does not mean you can't become one. So we give a lot of credit and importance to English more than it deserves, to be honest, because it's just a language, and it's a language used to communicate. As long as the audience is comfortable with Hindi or Kannada or Malayalam or Marathi or French or Spanish or German, your audience decides the language, and as a speaker, it's your responsibility to be fluent with that language, right? So English is just one of them. But knowing English enough is not enough to become a public speaker, especially when you are right at the top of the hill, when you are a CEO. Speaking becomes a non-negotiable. It's a very, very important skill for you to do what you're expected to do as a CEO. So tell me, what do you think is the importance of public speaking for a speaker? Since we're going to talk about how to speak like a CEO, I'm interested to know, why is it important for you to learn how to speak like a CEO? You've joined me live today to learn more about how to speak like a CEO. So why do you want to learn to speak like a CEO? Let's hear that from you. Wonderful. Premraj, good to have you here. Tell me, why do you want to learn how to speak like a CEO? Which I am going to share with you today. I will share some very powerful insights on how to speak like a CEO. What does it take? What does it take to speak like a CEO? But why is this learning important for you? That's an important question to ask, right? So I would love to know, to become a CEO, so you're preparing yourself to become one, hence it's important to learn. Fantastic. To build influence, says Rajendra. That's why I want to learn how to speak like a CEO. Wonderful. What else? What are your reasons? Each and every person who's joined me live, what is your specific reason to learn how to speak like a CEO? Shamil says to be able to communicate better and get your message across, plus create an attraction between the audience and the speaker. Okay, wonderful. Great point there. Akash says, because if you want to be a millionaire, you have to look like a millionaire and you have to speak like a millionaire, right? That's what you mean, Akash, I'm sure. Okay, good. That's a very good reason. Wonderful. Preparing to be a CXO, Abhishek? Super. So I'm sure no matter where you are in your career, you definitely are looking up, right? You're looking at your next level. And the next level takes you closer to the CXO position if it isn't already one. And hence it becomes even more important for you to learn how to speak like a CEO or a CXO, whether you're a CFO or a CHRO or any role that you play as a chief management executive of an organization, you are expected to do three things, right? So before I share that with you, here's my next question for you all. What do you think is so different about how CEOs should speak? So I could very well call this as a public speaking session, but I chose to call it as a session for CEOs, how to speak like a CEO specifically. So what is so different about how CEOs speak? Let's have your thoughts on that in the chat, please. To encourage the team to achieve an impact and make a difference. Okay, Madhuri, that's why you want to learn how to speak like a CEO. But my question is, what is so different about how CEOs speak that we have to learn specifically about how to speak like a CEO? It's not how to speak as a speaker, how to speak like a CEO. There is something different about that. And I will share what, but I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts? What do you think needs to be learned? What is different about speaking like a CEO? Why does it become so important to speak like a CEO? CEO needs to think in all the lines of business. Okay, fair point. They're always confident on the content they want to deliver. Okay, so they're confident about what they want to deliver. Got it, Akash? Right communication, right? Yeah, Rajendra, right? So they need to know what's the right way to communicate. Shamil says the buck stops with the CEO, hence trust levels need to be the highest, hence storytelling becomes important. Very well said. Couldn't have agreed more. Jairam says to motivate and influence with confidence. Absolutely. So what is different about how CEOs speak and why is it so important to learn how to speak like a CEO is because it's your responsibility to perform the 3 I's. You are expected to inform, and that's where transparency, integrity, trust, and all of that comes in, right? So you have all the information that can possibly be gathered or that one can have as a CXO or a CEO. You're right at the top of the helm, right? So you have the information and people look up to you for the information. People also look up to you for inspiration. That is the second I. They want to be inspired by you. And you also need to be able to influence the third I. You should be able to influence them in the direction where you want to lead them, right? So you should be able to inspire them to continue their journey and bring out more from within, and also influence them to take the actions you want them to take in the direction where you want them to go. And that is why it is a prerequisite for any CXO to learn public speaking before they get there. How to speak like a CEO is a skill that can be learned before you even get there. In fact, I will go as far as to say you need to learn that much before you get there. Once my boss told me, this was my first job, and it's an advice that will stay with me for a lifetime, and it has stayed with me all this while and has helped me a great deal. So I want to share that advice with you. And he said that, Yukti, you don't become a manager when you think that you are ready for that role. You become a manager when you start acting as if you're already there. And that's like a $1 million advice. It's an advice that changed my outlook. It changed my mindset. It changed my conduct. It changed my attitude towards my work and my life. It was a life transforming advice for me. And I can't thank that person enough for how this advice has helped me in my life. And I'm putting it out to you. It's worth every penny to remember this advice and implement. What this means is not that you kind of carry your weight around, right? It's not about showing the arrogance of being at the next level. It's about taking responsibility as if you're already there. It's about taking ownership as if you're already there. It's about building the skill set required for you to implement, for you to practice when you are there. You need to learn that now. And hence it becomes important to learn how to speak like a CEO before you become one, not after you become one. You are supposed to give that information, inspire, and influence. So if you're already there, you're already too late. But better late than never for those who are there. And those who are not, thank you for joining in and taking away this insight. And more importantly, committing to practice the insight that I'm going to share with you. Right? So if you commit, give me a commit in the chat. I would love to know that you are willing to work upon this action plan that I'm going to give you. And in the time that we have in satsang sessions, I can only guide you towards the direction, and I need you to walk the path. Now, when it comes to public speaking specifically, there is a program I'm rolling out on 20th of January. The details are on my website, sbyacademy.com. Check it out. It is only for executives, which means that you're going to cover how can you handle town halls and investor review meetings, internal shareholder meetings, etc. So we're going to cover a lot on that in this program. It's going to be a 12-week journey, every week, 2 hours of practice, very detailed, hands-on, practical course. Okay, wonderful. So now that you are willing to commit, I am going to share with you how to speak like a CEO using my mind map, and I need you to create one of your own. So the best way to remember this action plan, this roadmap, is to use CEO as an acronym, right? So that's how I have simplified it for you. How to become a CEO? Well, you need to remember C, E, and O, where C stands for connect. You need to learn to connect with your audience. How do you connect with your audience, your employees, people who are there looking up to you? Is by learning the art of storytelling. Anyone and everyone can be a storyteller. In fact, we all are, whether we realize or not. But there is some conscious learning. There are frameworks, there are templates available, which I will share with you inside the program if you choose to do this one with me. But definitely there are ways to learn how to become a storyteller. And for you, somebody who aspires to be a CXO or is already there, it's a skill that you need to master. You need to be aware of your body language. It needs to be in congruence with the message. And that calls for some level of awareness and a lot more learning about body language that needs to follow. And you need to practice confidence. As somebody said, you need to be confident as a CXO. But you know what? CXOs are also people like you and me, right? Right? We have our highs and lows. We are high on confidence and low on confidence. No one in this world is always super confident in everything, everywhere. Not true. It doesn't exist. Like nobody exists like that, right? So confidence is a function of the context that you're a part of. It's a function of the content that you're going to talk about. It's a function of so many other things, right? So if you know what you're going to talk about, you'll be more confident than talking about things that you don't know. If you are in a familiar environment, you'll be more confident than you will be in an unfamiliar environment. There are so many things that go behind feeling confident. But what you can learn is how to practice confidence even when you are not confident. And that is also an important skill that a CEO needs to learn to appear and carry themselves as a CEO. So that's how we connect, right? So what is it that you are committing to follow? Let's have that in the chat right away. Do you think you need to focus more on storytelling, on body language, or on confidence? Then give me these keywords. And if you think it's all three, then just say connect. And I know that you intend to work on all three of them, which means learning how to establish connection with your audience as a CEO or an aspiring CXO. Let's say commit. Oh, commit for what? So let's have that in the chat. What are you willing to commit to? I'm a coach, okay? I'm very demanding. I want you to know that collecting the how-to is an absolute waste of time if you're not committing to take the next step, right? Some action on this action plan. The power is in the action, not in the plan, right? The plan is important to take the action, but without action, any plan will fail. So let's not make this plan fail. We will commit to practice a few elements of what I'm sharing with you on how to connect as a CEO. So storytelling, wonderful, wonderful, whatever it is out of these three for you, let's put it in the chat. Connect means you're willing to commit to all three. And if I were you, I would do just that. Wonderful. With that, let's look at what E stands for a CEO, or to speak like a CEO. Connection is not enough if we've not learned to engage, right? We need to engage with our audience. Now, what helps us to do that? We need to learn to structure our content. You see, the problem is that we know too much. At a senior management level, we have a lot of information available to us. We have a lot of details, a lot of facts available to us. We are part of a lot of information, that only we can get access to because of the seniority that we enjoy in the ladder. What we need to decide is, how do I structure my message? What is it that I want to create as an impact? What is the message I want to leave people with? And hence, I need to plan how to start, what should be the body of my message, how do I end the message? This is called structuring the content. And that is a skill that needs to be learned. Again, there are frameworks, templates that one can learn to be able to engage with your audience in a better way. You also need to be persuasive. You need to learn how to influence people using your communication skills. How and what to say and when to say is what needs to be developed as a skill within you if you want to learn to speak like a CEO. And you need to practice delivery. You see, one mistake that we make as senior executives is that we think our title gives us the license to speak. I can stand and talk because I'm an executive vice president or a senior vice president or ABC title of a company. And so, I will speak and people will listen. I'm senior, you're junior. You don't have a choice. I will say whatever and it will make a lot of sense to you because I have so much information. And that is a mistake we make because our focus is so much on the content that we totally miss out on building a connection. We totally miss out on engaging with our audience. And that is why it becomes even more important for you to practice delivery when you are loaded with information. You need to know what to say, when to say, what is the structure of my content, how can I make it more persuasive, and how do I practice an impactful delivery. That is the E of CEO. Let me see, what are you taking away from these three important action points that I'm sharing with you to engage better with the audience. Okay, so picking up on the previous ones on connect, all three are important. At the same time, confidence, can use basic analogies as well. Absolutely. Focus on more storytelling and confidence. Great. Good point, Rajendra. Thank you so much. I want to know, which one are you taking away? Which one are you committing to practice, right? The commitment part of it is the key word there. It's the key word. And while you make up your mind on what you're willing to commit to, let me tell you what O stands for. The O here stands for being out there. You need to put yourself out there and not wait to be dragged into discussions and conversations, not wait for an invitation. Instead, learn to take more initiative. Learn to put your hand up in other forums as well. Be participative in other forums. You don't always have to lead the talk. You can also be there in the audience and learning, and yet you have an opportunity to put your hand up and participate with your question, right? With your sharing. The more you participate, the more you practice public speaking. Of course, you learn a lot in the process, which is such a wonderful byproduct of being participative. And you need to practice networking. You need to be out there in different events, different conferences, industry events, other industry events, global events, any opportunity that you get to network, because when you're networking, it's not just about deciding which job should you take next and how will you add one more zero to your account statement. It is also about ensuring that you are able to bring that comfort in putting your thoughts out. You're improving your articulation, your ability to create connection, your ability to engage with people and keep them interested in you and your thought process, right? So every such opportunity helps you to become a better speaker. And as you become a better speaker, you possess the opportunity and the ability to be a better CXO, a better CEO to your people, right? To sum it up, CEO needs to learn the CEO to speak like a CEO. You need to learn to connect through storytelling, body language, and confidence. You need to engage by structuring your content, being persuasive, and practicing delivery. And you need to be out there by taking initiatives, being participative, and networking. On that note, we conclude today's satsang. I, of course, want to know what is your action plan that you're willing to commit to. That's really, really important. So let me see, what are you willing to commit to in the comments right now? And while you do that, I want to remind you of the fact that public speaking is a responsibility that we take upon ourselves. As much as we are senior executives, we are responsible for the growth and the revenue of the organization. We are most responsible for people first, because people make organizations. And when people quit organizations, they actually quit people, right? So as senior leaders in the organization, it is our first and most important responsibility to become a people person, to learn to connect with people, engage with people, be out there, participating with them, being one with the team. And that is the most important responsibility for you as a CEO or an aspiring CEO. Rest of it, you have a team for, right? And they are probably better experts than you are in various other functions that they head. But your job is the most important job, because you are the one who should have the ability and capability to keep people together, to create that common message, that vision. And if you have the vision, is not enough. If you've not learned how to communicate that vision to the last line, right? The last person in the pyramid, the junior most, needs to be as clear as you are about the vision. And you cannot achieve that if you've not learned how to speak like a CEO. I hope you find this useful. And more importantly, you're willing to commit to working upon this action plan. I also hope that you give me the opportunity to serve you as your mentor and help you master this skill in 12 weeks. We start in 20th of Jan with our next batch. And every Saturday for 2 hours, we're going to learn the tools and techniques and also get hands-on feedback from me on how you are growing and developing as a public speaker within the program. A lot more on that on the site. Like I said, spyacademy.com is where you should visit and check out the details. In the meantime, please do put out your sharing, your takeaways, and most importantly, no matter how good you are with some of the skills you are in mastering these skills, what works best and most importantly is to practice what you know and to consciously learn what you must. So let's keep the practice on and let's keep enjoying the process of learning together. Thank you so much for joining me again today for Leadership Satsang. I can't wait to see you next week with another important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Till then, take very good care of yourself. I will see you real soon. God bless you all.